All right, I've been waiting months for this. I've been waiting months for the day that the Indiana Pacers match up with the Cleveland Cavaliers in the playoffs. It has finally happened. It's something I've been talking about for months at this point, that this is the matchup we're likely going to get in the second round, and I've been adamant on the fact the Indiana Pacers are going to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm very excited for this. Guys, this is a money glitch for the 7-game series. I'm not telling you the Pacers are going to win every single game in this series, but today's the day I think they get this series off to the right foot. We'll see. We're going to talk about that, and obviously a huge Game 7 with the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. We've got a lot to cover today, and folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Tomorrow, we've got Game 1s with the Knicks and the Celtics, and the Nuggets off no rest get to go to OKC. Ooh. Have fun with that. We'll get to that tomorrow. And also, earlier today, we posted our MLB best bets. And later today, we're going to have our UFC 315 predictions in the main event for the welterweight championship. Bilal, remember the name Muhammad, takes on Jack Della Maddalena. So make sure to join us on Greedo Plays MMA for that video. Again, go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA as well. Okay, to our first of 2 games today. You may have seen this one coming. I'm going Pacers money line here. Guys, I'm going to detail you this entire series right now. Pacers win Game 1. Cavs win Game 2. Pacers win Games 3 and 4. Cavs win Game 5. Pacers win Game 6. That is the script. I've already seen it. That's what's happening. The Indiana Pacers are beating the Cavaliers in 6 games. On top of just this game, Indiana Pacers to win the series is plus 410 if I'm not mistaken right now. Hammer it. Actually, don't do that. Don't hammer that line. But it is definitely worth the look. It is 100% worth the look. I feel so confident that the Indiana Pacers are winning this game. Or not this game, sorry. I think they're going to win today. I feel more confident about them winning the series, obviously. But I think today's the day. I think Game 1 is the day they get this one off to the right foot. I really think they're going to set a tone in this series with Game 1 here. Who's Darius Garland going to guard? I'm just serious. Who is Garland going to guard in this series? Darius Garland, who's been injured throughout this postseason. He's going to guard Tyrese Halliburton? Oh. Guys, the Pacers beat the Cavs 3 of 4 times in the regular season. I get it. One of those was a game that really didn't matter, and neither teams were playing their starters. If you take that away, actually, 2 of those were that. Regardless, they're 1-1. Ty Jerome played the 3rd game. Okay, well, we can say they're just 1-1 this season, okay? Cleveland won the game in Indiana. Indiana won the game in Cleveland. Technically, if you include the bench warmer games, the 3rd game wasn't a bench warmer game. But if you don't count the final 2, obviously, that didn't mean anything to Cleveland. They split the regular season series. Okay, that's fine. I don't know who Darius Garland... I mean, I think Darius Garland's going to get completely exposed in the series. I mean, we know he's not a great defensive player, but again, Tyrese Halliburton, who's an elite player in this league, a guy who I gotta feel like has a chip on his shoulder now in this series because of what happened post Game 5 with his father, Giannis Antetokounmpo. His father's been banned from Indiana Pacers games for the rest of the season, which I think is ridiculous, by the way. Should he have done that? No, but you've got to think about this from a father's standpoint. All right, your kid, the Milwaukee Bucks have talked shit and have gone at your kid every single game for the last 2 years, and he just eliminated them for the 2nd straight season with a walk-off buzzer beater. Sure, emotions are going to run high. Like, what? Again, should he have gone on the court and waved a flag in Giannis's face? Probably not. Was this some, extreme, circumstance? No. I think it's so dumb, I'm not going to lie. Anyways, the chip is going to be there on the shoulder of Tyrese Halliburton. What I can guarantee you is that the Pacers are walking out of Cleveland with 1 win. I think it's going to be this game, okay? But they're not going back to Indiana down 2-0. I feel pretty confident in that. They're going to win one of these 2 games. I think it's going to be tonight. I think it's going to be. Both these teams are fairly well rested, right? Cleveland hasn't played since Monday. Indiana hasn't played since Tuesday, the overtime victory. Expect 1,000,000 points scored in this series. That's just how these 2 teams play, right? There's really no defense on either side, let's just be honest. If anything, I'll say Cleveland does play slightly better defense, but you're going to see these 2 teams running the entire game. And it's really just going to come down to who hits the more threes, I personally believe. Or who who shoots them at a better rate. Because I guess Indiana's not going to take as many threes as Cleveland because, again, you look at the inside game with a guy like Siakam, and, you look at potentially, right, Miles Turner down low, even though most of his shots at this point are just three-pointers. But I think the whole Siakam thing, and if Siakam's scoring a lot of points, right, that kind of changes, the Pacers aren't shooting, say, 40-something threes a game like Cleveland will, right? I mean, the Cavaliers are going to shoot about 50 threes a game. Yeah, it's probably an over-exaggeration, but, again, they're going to shoot about 40 threes every single game. That's fine, but and again, that Miami Heat series, it was a one-sided beatdown. We know that, right? When you play 4 really uncompetitive basketball games, and yes, Miami was in, games 1 and 2? The 2 in Miami were definitely not competitive. I understand that, but when you play those 4 games where you kind of know you're the winner in every single one of them, and now you got to, completely just shift to, oh crap, we're playing an elite team in the conference. I don't know. I think there's an adjustment period, and that's where I think Indiana's going to shock them in game 1. And that's by my reasoning of, okay, I think Cleveland's going to win game 2. Because I think, again, they'll be adjusted then, and they're going to, oh, crap, we can't go back to Indiana down, 2-0. That's when the Cavs will win a game 2. But then I think the Pacers pick them apart in Indiana, I'm going to be honest. Right, this is a series, right, Cleveland, Indianapolis. It's 5 hours apart, if I'm not mistaken. So a very close series. Not like I don't think the Pacers fans are going to invade Cleveland, nor do I think the Cavs fans are going to invade Indiana. Nothing against these two fan bases, but, they just don't travel like that. I assume, again, there's going to be fans of both teams at the road games, but it's not going to be enough to make a difference. That's all I'm going to say, right? But I think Indiana is going to win this game 1. I think they're going to get off to a really hot start, and I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on the Cavaliers. I think, again, Cleveland not playing a competitive basketball game in weeks is going to make honestly, I get the last 4 they played are playoff games, but guys, this team's had things clinched for a while at this point. They haven't played a really competitive basketball game in about a month because everything's been locked up for them. Indiana has been scratching and clawing their way for the last couple months at this point now. And yeah, they finished with the 4 seed, and they were playing a series against the Bucks where it really felt like at no point they were in danger of losing. But hell, even their last game in that Milwaukee series, again, were they expected to win the series through and through? Yes. But even that game 5, it's down to the wire, they find a way to win. And Tyrese Halliburton hits that clutch, floater to win, or layup to win the basketball game, right? Indiana's in nothing but close games, and they've dealt with adversity so many times. I think they go into Cleveland, and I think they shock this team personally. I know how good Cleveland is. I completely understand that. I'll give them one thing. I think their bench unit's so much better than Indiana's, and that really just starts and ends with Ty Jerome. Let's just be honest. Ty Jerome's a game changer, and DeAndre Hunter. Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter are game changers. Yes, they've got guys as well. Like, you get a Dean Wade, you get an Isaac Okoro who can play some. A Sam Merrill as well when Darius Garland's back in the lineup. I get that. But Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter alone, those guys are going to change, again, just the balance of who has a better bench. Indiana's bench, they've got guys, right? I mean, you're going to see Jarris Walker minutes, potentially. You're going to see definitely Benedict Mathurin and TJ McConnell minutes. Potentially Thomas Bryant will play some in the second quarter. Carlisle will go to him. But especially, right, Mathurin and McConnell will play. I do not want to see Ben Shepherd minutes. I'm just going to be honest. I could go without seeing Ben Shepherd in the postseason for the rest of the year. I'm just going to be honest. But when we compare starting lineups, all right, well, when Tyrese Halliburton is on, and guys, Halliburton still hasn't found his three-point ball. He's going to need to find it this series, and I think he's going to. But even without it, Halliburton scores 26 in Game 5. Andrew Nembhard is a reliable shooting hand. Oh, same as Miles Turner when he's getting hot. Same as Aaron Nesmith. And Pascal Siakam is too. And sure, 100% you can look at the Cavs and say, oh, okay, well, Evan Mobley can shoot it. Donovan Mitchell can definitely shoot it. Strus can shoot it. Okoro kinda can off the bench, can. DeAndre Hunter definitely can. Ty Jerome 100% can. And Darius Garland can too. Exactly, to my point. There are going to be 1 million points scored in this series. And I think it's going to be interesting now what will happen with Garland, because I think the Pacers are going to go after Garland all series long. He is the obvious weak link defensively in the starting lineup. And I think they're going to attack Garland as much as possible. I think they're going to try to get the switch on Garland at times with Pascal Siakam. I hope Halliburton has him in a blender this entire series. And I think that's going to force Even though Garland's a great offensive player, he gets the offense going, I think that's going to force DeAndre Hunter to come in the game, which is not a bad alternative, obviously, right? This is a great 3-and-D guy, one of the best 3-and-D guys in the entire league. There's a reason Cleveland made that trade with Atlanta earlier in the year to get him, and it was for moments like this, against the Pacers, against the Boston Celtics, right? When Garland at the end of the game is not playing great defense, you can put DeAndre Hunter in when you're going possession for possession, and Hunter can go on defense, Garland can play offense. I get that. But through the course of 48 minutes or however long Garland's going to play, let's say 30-something, I do think it's going to be a problem for them defensively. So again, what I posed earlier, who's Darius Garland going to guard? It's likely going to be Halliburton. Maybe they'll go Nembhard. I still think they're going to have a lot of problems with that personally. And I think Indiana's winning this basketball game in game 1. I think Cleveland, again, I don't think they're outmatched. Not at all. I just think Indiana wins in spots. And it's all, again, I can break this down as much as I want and get into the X and O's of this game. Ultimately, it's going to come down to who hits their shots at a better rate, at a better percentage. And personally, I believe that's the Pacers. When the Pacers are hot, my goodness, they're tough to stop. And sure, Cleveland is too. I understand that. But again, like I said earlier, Cleveland hasn't dealt with adversity in months. They haven't played in a competitive game in months. It's going to take them a little bit to flip that switch. And I think, again, that flip will be switched in game 2. And that's where I think Cleveland will win. Dare I say that game might even be a blowout. But then you go back to Indiana for 3-4. That home court advantage that the Pacers have at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse, it's electric right now. Indiana's really coming together with this team. Like in the Tyrese Halliburton era, for as much as I love Victor Oladipo, one of my favorite players of all time, this has already surpassed the Oladipo era, and it's really not even close, you know? And Halliburton's just getting started here, right? This guy is going to be here for the long term. He personifies Indiana basketball right now. I don't know. Again, the way I see it, Pacers game 1, Cavs game 2, Pacers 3-4, Cavs 5, Pacers 6, and that's where we're going. Indiana in 6, they win game 1 here. I think they get the Cavs. Again, I think it's a matter of, all right, the Cavs haven't really played a competitive game in a while, at least a game where they felt danger of losing. And I think the Pacers will get them tonight. Also, plus 410 Pacers to win the series. I'm just saying. I don't know if they can beat Boston. I hope they can. I don't know. I've been saying this for a while. Again, time to put my money where my mouth's at. And we finally get a chance to see. Again, the Pacers are getting 1 in Cleveland. I think it's today. Maybe it's game 2. I think it's today. Indiana wins. The points do look great. Plus 280. Either or. Take both. All right, take both and manage your units. We go to game 7. Warriors-Rockets. I'm at a crossroads here, guys. Because I have a dilemma with this game. Okay? On one end, you get the Houston Rockets, who have kind of exposed the Warriors, at least the Warriors defensively. You play 2 bigs, and, we're going to force Jimmy Butler to get on a big, Moses Moody to get on a big. There's only so much Draymond can do. Draymond can't guard both Steven Adams and Alfred Şengün. And then I have the Golden State Warriors, who, they look like crap right now. They threw in the towel in game 5. They get belted last game, at least in the 4th quarter. But they have Steph Curry on their team, against a team that they have owned for the last 10 seasons, especially in spots like this. So what means more? From a basketball standpoint and from a fundamental standpoint, it is 100% okay. Steven Adams and Alfred Şengün should dominate. The 2 bigs, obviously, that they have should dominate whatever the Warriors are combating them with. 100%. I can't go against Steph Curry in this spot. Not like Curry's an all-time clutch player. He's a great player. Is he an all-time clutch player? Not really. But it's just, guys, and I said this at game 6, and I've called the last couple games of the series. I had the Rockets in game 5. I had the Rockets in game 6. But I've remained adamant on the fact, even going into game 5, I said, okay, I think the Rockets can win the next 2. I don't think they're winning a game 7. I think they're too young to win a game 7. I think when it matters, I think the Warriors are going to win. I think the Warriors have kind of been playing with their food a little bit, which is not great, obviously. I don't trust the Rockets to win in a winner-go-home Game 7 against Golden State. I've seen Curry do it to this team so many times, and I feel like it's so fitting that this season and series will end for Houston in 2025, trying to come back from the 3-1, and Curry just kind of burying them like he's always done. Either way, we're going to get a great narrative here. the narrative I want to see personally. Again, I'm picking the Warriors and I'm betting on the Warriors, but from a fan's perspective, 100%, I'd rather see the Rockets win. I would love to see Curry choke another 3-1 lead. But I just don't think that's happening here. And it's not even, I don't think, Curry's too good to, lose 3 games in a row. Well, we've seen that before with a much better team. But what it is just I don't think the Rockets win the clutch. I don't know what the Warriors' answer is to Adams and Şengün, because they didn't have one. They said, you know what, we're just going to keep fouling Steven Adams and hack-a-shack him. It didn't really work. You're just giving him free points, and the Warriors couldn't respond in their own right. The easy fix, obviously, for the Rockets was just take Dillon Brooks out and let Steven Adams play 30-plus minutes. I assume they're going to do that again. I don't know if they're going to start Steven Adams. I assume they'll probably start Dillon Brooks still, but Adams should play at least 30 tonight, if not more. Jalen Green finally scored more than 10 points for the first time since Game 2. That's great. Fred VanVleet, that guy's balling. Guys, I don't know. It's a Game 7, and I just don't think the Rockets are going to do it. I think it's too good to be true. I don't think they beat Steph Curry and the Warriors in a Game 7. And I get it. The Warriors have looked really bad, right? And it's not really a Curry thing. Curry's been great, actually. Steph, again, Game 6. Again, can Steph be better? 100%. But there's only so much you can ask out of the 36-year-old at this point of his career. Steph, 29 points, 9 of 23 from the field, 6 for 16 from the three-point line. I'll argue it's Jimmy Butler. He needs to step up, and he needs to step up in a big way. Jimmy has the best whistle in the NBA. Nobody's telling me otherwise. I don't get, say Shea. Okay, yeah. You take away free throws from everybody in the league. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander still leads the NBA in points, okay? No, Jimmy Butler has the best whistle in the NBA, and it's not particularly close, guys. It's not close at all. Some of the shots Jimmy Butler gets, the biggest example I can think of, and there's a million, but the shot that he took at the end of the first half, Dillon Brooks doesn't touch the guy, and they called a foul. Was it Brooks or Şengün? I think it was Brooks. Jimmy Butler doesn't get touched, and they still call the foul. It's ridiculous the calls this guy gets. 14 free throws in game number 6, right? 27 points, 12 of those came from the line. You take away the free throws, at least minimize the free throws, and it's really not that impressive of a game for Butler. Efficiency-wise, he wasn't very good. He's shooting threes, and the Warriors are passing up on wide-open looks for a guy like Podziemski, for a Buddy Hield, in favor of a Jimmy Butler three-pointer, which I really just don't understand. I don't understand it at all. Draymond, I forget who said this. Oh, God. I think I was watching Kenny Beecham, and he said this, and it's 100% true. When Draymond Green hits the first three-pointer of a basketball game, it's the worst thing that can happen for Golden State. Because then Draymond has all the confidence in the world to keep pulling the trigger from beyond the arc and just in general to keep shooting the ball. That's what happened in Game 6. I believe the Rockets had the first shot of the game. Warriors come back on the other side. Draymond's open for 3 in the corner. He hits it. He doesn't hit another one the entire game. Sure, he only takes 3 more, but he takes 3 more at the same time. Rather than, okay, Draymond misses the first one, then he takes maybe 1 more the entire game. It's the little things, but in a Game 7 or in elimination games like this, those things really matter, right? And sure, there will be a whole thing made of, why did the Warriors punt Game 5? I don't know, right? I mean, there's a moment that you can point to with 5 minutes to go. They're down by, 12 points? Easy spot. In the NBA, you have 5 minutes to make up 12 points. Is it likely you're going to win? No. But should you go for it? 100%. And Steve Kerr let his starters watch and see, Pat Spencer and Trace Jackson Davis, shout out the Indiana Hoosiers. But guys like that and Kevin Knox try to get the team back in the game while Steph and, Podziemski and Jimmy Butler are all going crazy on the bench trying to hype their guys up. Would they have won Game 5? No, but it's the message that it sends. And they came out, I don't want to say they came out ice cold in Game 6, but that fourth quarter was just horrendous. The Rockets went on like a 20-4, 20-6 run, and obviously the Warriors weren't able to recover from there. I think Golden State's going to win Game 7, though. Again, for as much as I want the Rockets to win, I just don't see it happening. History matters. It does. And also, the Rockets are extremely young. It's one thing to win 2 games. It's another thing to win the third. I've seen this too many times with the Houston Rockets. I have. 2019, we thought this team had the Warriors. And sure, there were a lot of calls in Game 7 that did not go the Rockets' way. Can I say that might happen again? I'm just going to be honest, guys. I think the whistle's going to be in favor of the Warriors. We've seen this historically against the Rockets in big games like this. Because again, guys, what's the bigger draw? Let's just be honest with ourselves here, guys. On a poster, Is the NBA going to make more money off a series with Anthony Edwards and Steph Curry on a poster, or Anthony Edwards or Fred VanVleet, Şengün, Jalen Green? Who's going to be on that poster? And that's no disrespect to the Rockets. I'm just saying this from a logistical standpoint. Who does the NBA want to win this game? It is 110,000% the Warriors. I don't think the Warriors stand a chance against the Timberwolves. I think the Rockets have a much better chance against Minnesota. But, like, again, Warriors, Timberwolves, that's Timberwolves in 5. Maybe they're not going to sweep. That's a Timberwolves in 5. That's Timberwolves win games 1, 2, 4, 5, okay? But what makes them so much more money and what hypes up the eventual conference finals more between Ant and Shea, if Ant goes on to beat, in his last 4 wins in playoff series, KD, Jokic, Braun, plus Luka, and Steph. Then he gets to go face Shea, who's the MVP. Money. You get your 2 rising stars playing each other for a trip to the NBA Finals on the line. While on the other side of the bracket, you get Celtics-Pacers rematch. Anyways, right? Just think about it, guys. The whistle's gonna be on the side of the Warriors. I don't always like to go to that, but let's just keep it a buck with ourselves. Who's gonna get the better calls? Who's gotten the better calls all series long? I think the Warriors are going to go away from the hack of Steven Adams thing. It did not work in Game 6. They should not go back to it. Steve Kerr saying, "Oh, maybe Jonathan Kuminga will be back in the rotation." I hope. I don't know. You bench this guy he's the only guy that doesn't play in Game 6. We saw Pat Spencer hit the court, who's great, honestly. But we see, Braxton Key play and Jonathan Kuminga still sitting on the bench. I'm just going to be honest. I think Steve Kerr is not that great of a coach. I don't think that's a hot take anymore in the Big 2025. He's been aided and gifted with the best talent in the world. He hasn't really ever had to make big decisions until now, coaching-wise, and really not going too well for him. I'm just going to be honest. But I do think the Warriors win. I think the Rockets, I don't think they're ready for prime time. I think the lights are too bright, but I think Golden State gets them. And I think Curry buries him with a 3 late in the game. I'm just going to be honest. Again, basketball-wise, yes, it makes so much sense for the Rockets to win. But again, you got to consider the circumstances. They're in a big spot. They're a young team for the most part. These guys are not going to come through in a game like this. The Warriors will lose in 5 to the Timberwolves. The Rockets will likely lose in 6. But I think the Warriors are getting it tonight. Give me Golden State to go on the road and break the hearts again of Houston. It's really going to be raining in Houston one more time. Give me the Golden State Warriors to beat the Houston Rockets. Plus 120. I've seen this through since Game 5 ended. Since Game 4 ended. And I think it's going to come true. So, give me the Warriors to win this game, and we'll see you in a couple days for that Timberwolves series. Tomorrow, right? Huge spots. Knicks, Celtics, Nuggets versus Thunder. Folks, make sure to join us for that tomorrow. Again, that'll do it for our NBA predictions and best bets. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.